They're ready.
Okay, everybody, this is the semifinal. This is the best of 5. This is what it comes down to. HGC 2017. 8 teams will play in the league in Europe. 6 are qualified. Dignitas and Fnatic, they made it through into the league through BlizzCon. First qualifier, Misfits and To Be's Determined qualified. Second qualifier, we had Jabronis, sorry, not Jabronis, but Damascus Boys and Be Genius qualify, and now we are going to find out today 2 additional teams that will make it into the league. The Russian Circus and the Jabronis, they find themselves in the semi-final. It's a best-of-5 series. Our first map is Dragonshire, and the winner of this best-of-5 will play next year in HGC 2017. I'm Carlo, with me is Tetch, and we're going to bring you the coverage here as we have the picks already coming in. And interestingly enough, a ban on Misha, as the Russian Circus already showcased several times that they are pretty decent with that hero on this map in particular.
Target bans, always satisfying to see, and Hydra's going to be very happy with that. Obviously, he would have liked to play it, but the fact he forced a very unconventional ban from the Jabronis is going to be cool for them. So far, other than that, conventional picks from both teams. Brightwing ETC for the Jabronis, and they still have one more pick, whereas Russian Circus, Tychus to try and shred through whatever tanks are picked, and of course he's still one of the most sustainable damage dealers in the game at the moment, and the Malfurion for the heals.
Just to give you also a few more backgrounds about the teams here, we had a player switch happening as Russian Circus after the second qualifier. They lost Mopsio, and he's now playing for the Jabronis. And that was actually not the Russian Circus like kicking him or anything, like he left. And that of course left also the Russian Circus in a bit of a weird situation, because they only had a day where they could find a new player and practice with a new player to play in the third qualifier. There's a lot of team shifting going on as teams and players are realizing, hey, we only have one chance left. Do we need to make an adjustment here? Is it better to join another team? Teams are kicking players, offering players from other teams a spot there, and everybody is just trying to see what would be the strongest team that has the best chances to make it into the league. So that's something to know here, especially of course as we're heading into the game and you are going to see Mopsy on the other side. If you watched the last qualifiers, you are probably going to be a little bit confused by that, so I think that helps out here. Varian is also allowed, just to emphasize on that again. This is the first qualifier where Varian can be played. We've seen a couple of plays with him. We've seen bans on him. He's not supported in the draft tool here, so there's a blank spot. If that is going to be used as a ban or a pick, then you know it's going to be Varian. For now, we're heading into the second bans. Tetch has been talking a little bit about the globals. A hero that we have seen a lot is the Haka. So far not picked up yet, but the Russian Circus is already starting to ban out top laners against the Jabronis here.
Yeah, banning out that Thrall to start off with quite quickly. So they're going to be able to pick up their own solo laner as their next pick, as they are first pick after the bans. So Jabronis, they probably don't want to ban out a top laner, seeing as unless there's one they really don't want to play against. And I literally just had a broadcasting game from Hydra saying first ban Rexar feels bad, man. And Jabronis are going to ban out the 10. They really didn't want to play against that. So there's still plenty of options for them. That's just one they really didn't want to play against.
I mean, 2 of the top laners that we have to mention here, the Haka and the Auric. We've seen both of them on Dragonshire a lot. And especially the Haka was actually banned out a fair amount of time, so he could be picked up here. But the Russian Circus, for now at least, they neglect him. They're just simply saying, okay, we don't really care too much. We want to have the Fawcett first of all that can set up the gank potentially at the top lane, gives us the global presence as well, and we have Mirrodin as our main tank. So the Jabronis find themselves in a situation where they can take their pick from the potential solo laners at the top. There have been a huge priority on bans against these solo laners, with Thrall, Chen, and Rexar all being banned out here. So the likely choices for them would be either Leoric or them going into the Haka. And considering to actually what we've seen in previous games, I wouldn't be surprised if again a Leoric is being dropped here. But yeah, this is just setting the pace for the entire series, of course.
They do have 2 other options in the form of Alarak and even the Zul if they wanted to. Starting off though with some range damage, bringing out that Valor. And now they have to make a pick now. The fact is, what Russian Circus have done here is actually kind of clever. It may seem like they had missed the solo laner, but the fact is some of these solo laners work better against others than it would in terms of the situation. So now that Jabronis have picked the Leoric here, Russian Circus, they know not to pick a tanky top lane, so it's very unlikely that we'll see them pick the Dahaka here, because that's going to give Leoric a bit more of an advantage. So we'll probably see them run something more along the lines of the Alarak or the Zul, because now they've put themselves in a position where they get the preferable pick.
Yeah, the Leoric doesn't really surprise considering the previous preferences of the Jabronis, but as you already said, now we have the Russian Circus with the opportunity to try to counterplay that a bit. And as you already pointed out earlier, we have a few more solo laners in, like, on offer than what I mentioned earlier. The Alarak, of course, would be another great choice for them here. But this is basically Hydra's Heroes, or it should be Hydra's Hero that is being picked right now. Normally with the setup that they're using...
Whoa!
Whoa!
I am happy!
All right, I did not see that coming. So we have Atanis being picked. Okay, fair enough. Atanis is being picked all of a sudden. I expect him to, like, this should be Hydra's Hero. Usually the setup that they're playing right now is that they have Power of Dreams on the main tank and Hydra picks the second or the assassin, the melee assassin. And I totally could have seen him going again for the Alarak, but it is Atanis. Ladies and gentlemen, we are kicking off the semi-final here with a bit of a bang. Dragonshy is our first map. Let's jump in and find out if Atanis can carry the Russian Circus to victory if the Jabronis are taking the lead at the semi-final. All right, Tetra, go.
But go with what for this case? Just why the Atanis?
I mean, I suppose this is like a pick that you very much enjoy, so yeah, shoot.
Yes, okay. So basically, I've been advocating this pick for freaking ages. I usually advocate it on a different map. I usually think it gets a lot more value on the Battlefield of Eternity because you get a huge amount of value from the amateur opponent on level 1 on the Immortal. However, picking it on here is very much a mobility and an extra gank choice because yes, it seems that was a misclick, and I'm just going to stop talking because they've locked in Dahaka, and now I'm sad.
I want to also give a quick update. We've been talking about the other game, the match between EE and Mashutka. The game isn't over yet, but we have 15 kills against 1 in favor of Team EE, 19 to 16 currently in levels. And the first keep has been lost on the side of Mashutka already. It looks like the Russian team is currently very much getting destroyed. And yeah, there's a curse against them as well. So there's actually a curse against Team EE, which currently doesn't do anything for them since Mashutka had to defend against the boss that I just mentioned. So it looks very much like this is going to be a 2-1 victory for Team EE, and they are going to face off against Diamond Skin in the next round. We are going to cover that semi-final as well, just to give you that update while we are waiting for the game at hand to start.
Okay, and on my friends list, BKB just came out of game, so that does look a little bit more likely. And
yeah,
I was really looking forward to the Artanis, but we already mentioned that the Dahaka makes a lot of sense.
It feels bad, man, though. It happens every now and then. All
yeah, oh, chat caught up. I'm so sorry, chat. You're going to be so disappointed.
Yeah, as the last pick, it occasionally happens. It's sad, but yeah. Dahaka, we talked about him excessively. He is fantastic.
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, we are loading into our first semi-final, game number 1 on the Dragonshy. It's going to be Russian Circus versus the Jabronis.
The game starts off, ladies and gentlemen. It's map number 1, and I have a disappointing announcement to make for all Protoss fans out there. It was actually not good old Atanis that has been locked down here, but apparently there was a problem with the draft tool. Dahaka was the choice that they made. The draft tool showed Atanis as it was the last pick. There was no problem. Keep in mind, all of these teams here are very friendly with each other. The pick didn't influence the draft in the slightest since there were no counter picks based on it. So they just simply announced, listen guys, there was a problem. We wanted to pick Dahaka. Nobody made any kind of complaints here, so we're heading into this series with a Dahaka instead of the Atanis that was shown in draft. To the left side, we have the Jabronis. They are playing with Mopsy on the ETC, Dickazoy on Vala, Maka on Liming, Linked on Brightwing, and Kronos on Leoric. Whereas at the right side of the map in red, we have the Russian Circus with a Hydra on Dahaka, Neon on Tychus, Ice Cream playing Falstad, Power of Dream on Muradin, and Sevka is playing Malfurion. With a bit of a body block action in the middle of the map. And Tetra, what do you think about our level 1 talents here?
So starting off with the level 1 talents, we are seeing the reanimation on that Leoric, giving himself some sustain. He's going to have to head up to the top lane a little bit. Actually, no. It's Vala heading up to the top lane to harass Hydra. Leoric is going to join the rotation. He does have that skeletal swing for some good AoE here, and that's going to give him 2 lanes to stack globes on and help him burst down Muradin here with that percentage damage. That's going to be first blood going over to the Jabronis.
Muradin is down, and the rotation, at least for now, won by the team in blue. Good job on the side of the Jabronis. They're doing well here. We have on level 1, as already mentioned before, the reanimation, so a lot of globe stacking is going to be the case. That helps when you win that lane. Fawcett up at the top lane is trying to get a kill off against Vala. Hydra is currently just trying to bait a little bit, but yeah, so Ice Cream jumping on a little bit too fast, but they will still get that shrine at the top lane at least.
Yeah, we're just going to prevent any kind of Dragon Knights happening at least this early. So, we're going to be starting off with some of the other talents. Reanimation already stacking very quickly along with Prog Rock. So this is why I quite like this rotation. The ETC and the Leo are rotating together almost every time. They're both just stacking globes so quickly that they're both going to be fairly sustained very fast in this game. As long as they don't get caught here, Power of Dream moving forward onto Mopsio. The tank battles, both there's been some team stuff happening between these two guys. Leon pulling back. Takes a single arcane missile through the face, but able to survive.
The front line on the side of the Jabronis has to be very careful later on, especially Neon on Tychus is of course going to give them a bit of trouble, but we also have Fawcett with the stacking process on the Seasoned Marksman that has the opportunity to this time go into Giant Killer. So Ice Cream didn't really use the talent in the game that we saw in Tomb of the Spider Queen, but he still has an opportunity here to put additional pressure onto the high hit point heroes. But for now, it's of course all about the experience for now. And level 4 talents are going to be crucial here. And it's already interesting to see one who collects taken on level 4 as he has the solo lane. Dehaka once again the minion stacks, but they set up the gank in the mid lane against Li Ming. Not getting the kill though, but Mopsio is too far out and he falls.
Yeah, Mopsio dropping that stun onto Hydra, preventing the drag onto Marcus, saving his ally, but getting himself killed in the process. The tank for the assassin here. We don't know if that is worth it yet. We'll see. But now Kronos gonna lose bot to Power of Dream, at least temporarily, due to Sevkar being there and him knowing that he can't really take that fight. Top lane, it's still Vala versus Dehaka, not going for the standard solo lane setup, and Vala just using her range to her advantage.
Yeah, Kronos still looking to see what he can do here in the middle of the map, where we have both of the shrines activated by the red team. The Russian Circus is doing fairly well with the pressure on the objective, and it gives them a bit of time to just go for the siege camp instead. Again, the damage by Ice Cream up here in the mid lane, pressuring Leoric in particular. Kronos moving back for that. Vala with an attempt to steal the shrine away, but Hydra is immediately on point, making sure that they gain it back. So this is a lot of pressure on the Jabronis already. They need to be careful that there's no Dragonite being picked up.
Yeah, need to keep an eye on that as best as they can. Link attempting to cap back, barely dodging out that Stormbolt from Muradin, who continues to put the pressure on. Gets straight by Kronos there, but Power of Dream still tanking through this with the help of Sevkar and his own very good self-healing that he gets from his second wind, his Dwarven resistance.
Yeah, it's Ice Cream pressuring Mopsio. There's the channel. This is going to be a Dragonite. Dragon Knight for the Russian Circus. Vala attempted to go to the top lane and interrupted, get a channel on the shrine itself, but that did not happen in time. Now the level 7 talents are ready, and we are seeing a play in the mid lane for the towers. Kronos is being welcomed here by Sir Ice Cream, who puts a lot of pressure onto Leoric. Half Dream wants to punt him away. That doesn't work, but that's full hero committed to the defense, which opens the other lanes up, of course.
Yeah, and they begin to, Russian Circus begin to take advantage of that and push that in very aggressively. Oh, ETC! ETC got punted behind the wall there, and Dehaka moving in to try and hunt him down. Power of Dream with the punt. Here comes Sir Ice Cream too. They want that kill.
Ah, they might not get it! Oh, it was actually close. That was an
escape.
opportunity they had. And in the end, they failed to drop him. But it opens up space for them at that bot lane when Neon and Sevkar were able to go through the entire wall, and they make a play for the fountain, and very likely to take it down too, which takes again the lane sustain away. So as long as nobody's rotating against him, they can commit here. But there is a bit of a play with vision, since we have heroes hiding behind the gate, so they didn't really know if they could commit to the last few shots or not. But a grenade should solve the issue, and indeed it does.
In the top lane, Hydra and Leoric still battling it out. Hydra and Kronos have finally joined together in the standard solo laner selection, which is buying time once again. Both teams beginning mercenaries. The Siege Giant cap in the bot lane was taken a while ago, but it will be back in 50 seconds. The Siege Giants for the Jabronis being taken, and the Bruisers also being 3-man. So every hero currently grabbing mercenaries for the Jabronis.
We have the bigger they are, of course, and we've been talking also about ETC a little bit with this Prog Rock. He's currently at 10 stacks. I also want to highlight that Falster with the Season Marksman is currently at 15, roughly 6 minutes into the game. We have seen very long matches on Dragonshire, and Falstad later on is going to really capitalize on that auto-attack damage. So Mopsio and his boys, they want to make a play before 10 ideally, but that level 10 ability could be a big problem. It's not there yet though, and they go for Neon, but he's able to just simply slide out of there. Has his Fountain up as well, can tap the well, and now we're having them with heroic abilities, but once again we see Commandeer Odin, we have the Isolation, we see also Mighty Gust Plus, the Twilight Dream on Sefka. That might be a chance for them to make a bit of a play there if they can isolate someone, and they're trying to make that play in the middle of the map.
They're trying to get the Bing for now, but she's able to teleport out instead, picking up ETC, picking up Mopsio there, and guaranteeing a kill. Dahaka immediately heading back to top lane to soak against Cronus, and just keep that XP lead that they were able to guarantee with that kill. But level 10s have now been acquired for the Jabronis, so as such, they're going to be able to defend a little bit more efficiently, but they're still down a hero for a couple seconds, but that hero has stage dive.
Yep, the Zero stage dive indeed. Top lane, Kronos versus Hydra. No stage dive used just yet. One shrine already under the control of the Circus. They take another camp here, give up the bot lane for a moment, but Power of Dream rotates back in, and it hasn't been recaptured by the Jabronis. We're seeing the teams both with heroic abilities right now. Still 50 seconds until Sefka has his Twilight Dream back though. He dropped it against ETC. Didn't actually have to do it, but he wanted to secure the kill. Better safe than sorry. Now they go for Mopsio again, and ETC had a bit of a problem during this game so far to stay alive already. Both deaths on the Jabronis were on him.
Yep, he is. A lot of that has been to do with him tanking for his team very well, but we have seen Mopsio every game. He does have a very aggressive style, and sometimes that does mean you get punished if the enemy team is as skilled as the Jabronis. So we'll see if he can work it out a little bit further on here. Sorry, as skilled as the Russian Circus here. Still remembering from when he was on their team. But for the moment, we do see Hydra sneaking this back, so Ice Cream in a good position to guarantee it if Mopsio tries to contest, and that's going to be both shrines going over to Russian Circus right now, who are going to move in and try and grab the Dragon Knight.
I want to highlight the importance of the wells being destroyed in the mid and bot lane again. The fountain taken out takes a lot of the lane sustain away, so if there is going to be a battle in the mid lane, there could be an easy play by the Russian Circus, moving back, tapping well during the fight, and then moving back in. So it's a lot about how long you can really take the battle here. The bot shrine was now recaptured though by Leoric, which is nice for them, but let's keep in mind that there's also currently level 13, just half level away for the Russian Circus. The red team is totally willing to wait a little bit longer for a battle to actually happen, since they are waiting for it. But a nice entomb in the mid lane, and there should be a stage dive, and there it is.
Yeah, and this stage dive is going to happen without Falstad or Dahaka. Neither one have the globals, and as such, they will guarantee the kill. They weren't able to get anything, and as such, that puts them in a good position. They still have control of bot, and now they can move up to top. And if Falstad and Dahaka stay around, that could be a risky move for them. They will have to pull back to make sure they don't get ganked by this roaming 4-man who is looking to try and guarantee this in the bot lane, though. Leo is having some trouble. He will get out of there just due to the fact that he's Leoric, but they will lose that shrine.
Yeah, they lose the shrine. It's 13 versus 13. Soon enough, though, the level 13 talent has been picked up by the Russian Circus already. That's the stuff. The heal is going to be great to give a bit of additional sustain, and the ice block on Malfurion will help also to mitigate some of that threat that the stage dive alone already has against Malfurion. But it's still a setup in which we are seeing the gap close. The Jabronis are doing well here. Falstad is still stacking. Dahaka secures top lane experience. And Falstad himself is on 26 extra damage, so still a bit away from completing his own quest talent.
Yeah, the other quest talents that still aren't completed yet, Prog Rock and the Reanimation, neither one have managed to get all the globes that they are looking for. But they're making their way there. They're rotating between the lanes once again. We're seeing some good rotation from the Jabronis, just trying to keep that map pressure that they got from their earlier kills. Paradream taking an orb to the face, and that will guarantee this bottom shrine to Cronus. Mopsio going to try and push Hydra off this, but there's no way he can win that fight, especially when he doesn't have vision on Falstad, so he does pull back.
Yeah, Falstad together. Oh, they're trying to take the camp. That might actually be interrupted. Kronos is not checking, though. So they get the Siege Giants. They're moving for the objective again. The Russian Circus in the lead in experience, but the talents are the same right now. So we have 13 versus 13. Gloom taken for Vala, so that she can avoid some of that ability damage. We're having in the mid lane them joining up again. And still, like, both of the teams just looking for the opportunity to maybe get a kill somewhere. And the camps, of course, are going to help to pressure the lanes. this at the top lane in particular is going to be pretty rough, since vision on the opponent's team is still there. It's a bit of a race happening right now, and I'm not quite sure if they can actually win it, especially since Falsa could always use Gust as a bit of a panic button if they want to save that fort.
Instead, for now, though, so Ice Cream is just harassing the heroes. Kronos taking a huge amount of damage. He has to leave. There is the Gust. I think he wanted to try and isolate Kronos a bit, but now the fort will die thanks to the Siege Giant camp, but top fort died quite a while ago.
And they take the camp away. I mean, they simply steal this, the Bruiser camp now, so that's going to give them another edge. But there is an attempt to actually move in. Falstad needs to come in here. They could try and go for Leoric. He will drop the Entomb, and then ETC is going to stage dive again, or will he? He's getting dragged for now, but the flank is ready. Falstad is still at the bottom. I'm not sure why Falstad is waiting this long. The Ice Block was well done, but the Strafe is already used on Vala. We're seeing the isolation coming in against her. Falstad is still at that bot lane. The 5 at the top is a 4 versus 5, but they actually win it.
Yeah, they didn't have to win it though. All they had to do was delay, because Falstad, while all this was happening, sneaks the Dragon Knight. Now, if they can get enough heroes out, they do lose Power of Dream. If they got all the heroes out, that would have been incredible. Losing one hero, not the worst thing in the world though. The Dragon Knight though being a bit hesitant here, staying in the mid lane where it's just about to get rushed here by pretty much everyone from the Jabronis, and as such, Dragon Knight pulling back, waiting for the rest of the team.
Again, the late game is in favor. Like, the longer this game lasts, the more pressure Falstad alone is going to be able to put on to the Jabronis. Also, after 20, when he has access to the Epic Mount, which is still way more likely than him going for the Nexus Frenzy, we will see him with much more global mobility. So I feel the late game, the power spikes that we get on the side of the Russian Circus are way better than what is going to happen for the Jabronis. So I think them using the Dragon Knight, or not really using it too much, it's in their favor. It's prolonging the game. It's really just saying, yes, we couldn't get too much value out of this because he killed a hero, but now the game is going to last even longer. Also, the top lane has, of course, been pressured by the Bruiser camp. So time is working in their favor, in my opinion. It's a dangerous game they play, though, of course, but still, it's something where they think they can capitalize on just delaying for the late game.
Yeah, but if they die now, there's going to be no more delaying. A good stage dive coming in, but he is rooted to delay it even more. Decisive, though, good vault, though, for a bit more micro to try and focus down onto Power of 3. He's summer-stepping his way through this fight to try and keep the micro going. Here comes Hydra from the Brack onto Kronos, and the first kill is going to be on Muradin, though.
Yeah, first kill against Muradin. The silence was good, but they couldn't really capitalize on it in the fashion they wanted to, so they didn't get the kill. It's interesting to see how much pressure the Ice Cream can actually put on the tanks, but the problem is they didn't have the focus they needed to get kills here. They used their globals, though, to immediately de-push the top lane, and the only thing they lost so far in this game is a single fort. Same is true for their opponent, but right now we have still a lead in experience. We're seeing Falstad also about to complete his own quest talent. If I'm not mistaken, he's at 37 stacks right now, so then he will have the added attack speed. But they need to make sure that they focus a little bit more during these fights. They had an opportunity after the Twilight Dream to get a kill there, but they didn't focus the same heroes.
Yeah, they weren't able to get it down. Once again, Falstad with the cooldown reduction build, not going for that giant killer, which would have maybe helped him shred through Leoric or shred through ETC, although ETC did take the imposing presence on his level 16. He is now one global away from finally completing his prog rock, whereas Leoric has finished his reanimation, and like you said, Falstad very close to finishing that season marksman, and then he can just start getting even more damage.
It's a 5 versus 5 right now, and we see the top lane being pressured by the Haka. Now the Haka has to be careful of one thing. If ETC is willing to sacrifice a stage dive cooldown to jump on him and interrupt a B-back when the rest of the team is already moving in, he could be in trouble at some point. It's not going to be of any relevance just now, but it's something to keep in mind. If the Haka thinks he's safe enough and stays too long, that might be a problem later on in the game. The kill count, by the way, still in favor of the Jabronis. They're doing well with that. They have now the next Dragon Knight up for grabs. The quest talent for Falstad is completed. He has access now to his activatable, but both of the shrines have been taken, and Hydra is trying to recapture the one to the top.
Yeah, sneaky Hydra trying to grab him. Mopsio spots him. He's just going to try and delay this. He can't. Well, once again, ETC does not take preferable fights versus Dahaka with 1 versus 1s just due to the amount of time that he will end up spending stunned. He is fully stacked up prog rock though. Every stacking talent in the game now is full. And we see a good amount of harassment once again onto Kronos.
Yeah, top lane also pressuring very hard with the Bruiser Camp, forces ETC back. Falstad is taking another wave at the bottom of the map and is going for the second shrine, so they can make the play in the middle of the map. Everybody is just still poking a little bit. And in damage output, Vala and Liming are very far high up here, but Falstad is continuing to get the pressure against the tanks, which is really starting to matter.
The Hacker moving in, finds Kronos. However, Kronos with the Wraith will keep himself alive. D2 doesn't hit anyone, but it does block Power of Dream with it. The silence only lands onto EDC, who's able to continue pushing through. They get the kill onto Leo in exchange for Tychus.
The focus is again missing a bit. Nice Iceberg on Sefkasha. Once more Hydra in a bit of trouble on his Dehaka though, so Ice Cube is very low in hit points as well. They go for Power of Dream. It's a 1 versus 1 exchange, but now the Fountain comes into play. This is what we talked about earlier. They still have the Weller in the mid lane, so they can re-engage into the battle. We have ETC moving bot lane. He's trying to get the Shrine, and he's not able to do that. Not in time. Dragon Knight number 3 on the side of the Russian team, and they have only half a level until 20.
Yeah, we don't see any kind of delay tactics from the Jabronis to give ETC that time. Now ETC taking some huge damage from Dragon Knight, and once again, we don't see the pressure coming out of Dragon Knight because Tychus is still dead. Leo, seeing as he's the one who went down to fight, is already back because he fully stacked his reanimation talent. And as such, once again, like you mentioned earlier, Russian Circus saying, yeah, we know we're outnumbered here, we're not going to waste this Dragon Knight, we'll keep it alive for as long as possible, and that just delays the game even longer till the late game, and as such, Falstad can get more stacks with Season Marksman, and we can get closer to our level 20 talents, which will put us in a great position. The longer the game goes on, better it is for them.
They should still be able to make a bit of damage happen, since Tychus is now back and they still have another 30 seconds, so I would be surprised if not at least one of the forts is falling here. ETC can of course jump in. I don't like that Power of Dream is wasting his kick every time on Leoric. I think that's a huge misplay on his part. 20s are in there. Oh, nearly the insta-kill against Dickazoy, but he moves back, and it is Malfurion that dies first. Hydra is also in trouble. A double kill against them. That's a massive problem right now for the Russian Circus. That was a very, very bad engage on their part.
Yeah, Power of Dream pops out of that Dragon Knight, he pulls back, but now we're seeing a huge push onto the bottom lane. Vala was punched away, but she didn't die, she just went back to base to get some health. She's now coming to join her team, or at least push the mid lane, maybe grab some mercenaries. Big red button though, doing some big damage as level 20 talents, and that will force the Jabronis to back off.
Yeah, I really, again, I dislike very much what we've seen with the Dragon Knight here. Going for the kick for the punt again 2 times against Leoric didn't do anything for him. He activated Wraithwalk, nothing happened. You kick any other target away in this situation and the fight is going a completely different way. But it had no effect. If anything, it really put them out of position. They went a bit too aggressive. They should have waited another moment. They know their stage dive on the board, so they had to wait for it. Now they're very likely to lose the keep here. Even with them using the Mighty Gust. Great reaction, by the way, to the Entomb. They are going to lose the keep at the ground until they have to fight with 5 versus 5 again.
Yeah, the Entomb was super solid, like you said, the Gust. Perfect reaction, keeping everyone alive with the keep down. That's a lot of pressure onto this bot lane. And top lane, despite multiple Bruiser Caps pushing into it, the keep there is still alive for the Jabronis. And that's been their saving grace. They've reacted very well to Russian Circus putting monstrous amounts of pressure onto that lane.
7 kills against 3. The Jabronis are looking strong here. They have to be very cautious, of course. The Ice Cream is by now at 50 extra damage. So he has another 10 damage since he completed his quest talent. The damage output starts to really reflect it. He's not overtaking Tychus yet. Tychus, of course, himself always a beast. We're having the top damage in the game, by the way, by Vala, and also Liming is doing fairly well here. 7 kills against 3, on the other hand, really tells the story thus far. We have a bit of a problem in these team fights for the Russian Circus. They only lost the keep here, and they're still playing around their globals quite nicely. But this is really where the death time is being this high, where you have to be super careful that you don't make a mistake. If you end up losing a hero before the fight starts, you are in serious trouble and could lose the core.
Yeah, this is why even with that Falstad global, we see Russian Circus staying so grouped together. Everyone except Dehaka, whose global's a little bit quicker than Falstad's, is hanging around the area, and Dehaka going to be able to clear this lane up fairly easily with his primal aggression, but he's still ready to help his team whenever he needs to. We're seeing the rotations right now. Majority of the Jabronis heading up to the top lane, and Russian Circus already flying down to the bot lane, and that's okay because ETC, the only one with global, is the only one down here, so there's no chance of instant reinforcements. So it's just, once again, a shrine trade.
That was a bit risky though.
was very risky.
I mean, you just fly in. You don't even fly in the bush. That was a bit of a risky move.
I'm sure
by
it's fine.
Falstad.
Just fly straight away. I'm sure there's no one there.
Yeah, there comes the Entomb. Misses.
Ooh, okay.
This is big. This is huge. Stage Dive on the other hand. Iceberg already used. Stage Dive is in. Nice silence against 4, but they can't capitalize on it just yet. Power of Dream finds himself in a bit of trouble. Look at that damage! Down goes Brightwing. That's a problem. Power of Dream is still alive. Saves himself. Mighty Gust is pushing them away. 5 versus 4 in their favor. Kronos goes in once more, but Falstad is already on the way up to the top to get the Dragon Knight. Maybe a bit too soon. It forced a 4 versus 4 fight down here, and Power of Dream is still in trouble. Jumps away just barely. Falstad gets the shrine, but I mean, he should have maybe stayed a bit longer there. That was a risky move out of the fight.
It was super risky, but not as risky as Li Ming currently heading for the shrine. No one's going to delay this, and that's another Dragon Knight going over to Russian Circus. They're going to try and finally use it, and they're trying to chase down Leoric. No kick this time, only axes, and they take him down. Now moving into the bot lane, where the fort is low. The fact is, the keep in top lane is exposed, but the Bridge of Death is too risky for them with that Entomb, with that stage dive. So instead, bot lane is the target. They push it in. Catapults, though, take down the Fountain in the bot lane and will continue the pressure.
It shouldn't really be an issue, but the Haka is still moving back to defend. They know that he can just simply push Stalker in again. But yeah, the fight is won. A bit of a risky play by the Russian Circus in the middle, but it paid off. High risk, high reward here for them. And they are really executing a lot of pressure plays right now. Hydra is moving in. ETC again with the stage dive. Already the Entomb on the ground. Power of Dream. He's low. Jumping out just barely. And there comes the kill against Tychus though. And also Malfurion falling. Power of Dream eliminated. So Ice Cream didn't get the kill in. Uses a quick Mighty Gust. The focus is lacking, and this could be the end of the game. They get the keep. It's 4 heroes down, and they just, I mean, wow. They just threw. Big time.
The Ice Cream racing the enemy team back to his base. He goes into the backline though. If he can take down one, he might be able to delay for a bit. He's harassing Nikazoid, but Linked is there with him. There's the polymorph. Rest of the team immediately moving on to the core. There is a catapult here to defend now, but the core is under harassment. 28 seconds until the next hero. So Ice Cream will have a fountain, but there's no way he can defend this. He goes 1 versus 1. In comes Mopsio though to make it a 3 versus 1, and that is GG.
The team fights end in favor of the Jabronis, and they do well. They completely capitalize on the mistakes of the Russian Circus. They take the game, and therefore the lead in the best of 5. GG, well played. We're going to jump into game number 2.